Hey friends, welcome back. This is Ann, author of hiddenfarmlife.com. Today we are making sourdough pancakes. This is going to be something that's going to come in very handy for us. Our lambing season of 2023 is in full swing, so we are in and out of the barn all day and sometimes all night. So the ewes don't give us a choice of when they lamb. They just, drop their lambs when they feel like it. So we need food that we can grab, heat up, and eat and be on the go. So I like to batch cook. Yesterday I made a hearty lentil soup, and if you'd like to see that, leave a comment below and let me know. Today we are making these sourdough pancakes, so let's get started. This is everything that you will need. I like to use a bowl. I use a ceramic bowl, a pancake turner people call it, a large spoon. I have a Danish whisk that I like to mix the pancakes up with. It really works well. You're gonna need 2 eggs, and I put those in a bowl because I'm going to mix those up before we actually use them. We're going to use some baking powder, baking soda, salt. I have pink Himalayan salt, butter, some vanilla extract. This is pure vanilla extract, some brown sugar, and I can link my video up above on making your own brown sugar. And then of course the star of the show, sourdough starter. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my pan and heat it up. So I'm using a cast iron skillet, and then I'm going to melt some butter in the cast iron. My pan is good and hot and it's already well seasoned, but I like to melt butter in the pan. It helps to pre-season, especially when I'm making something like eggs or pancakes. I'm gonna put some of this butter in here. I have my stove on low, but it runs pretty hot, so this is gonna melt pretty quickly. And this is grass-fed butter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and melt that. Put that over there because we may need to use some more of that during the cooking. So that's melted. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my pan off because these cast iron skillets hold their heat. So now we'll move on to mixing up the pancake batter. So we'll start off with the sourdough starter, and it is essential to have a good healthy starter. I don't know, can you see all of those air bubbles in there? This may be considered a discard recipe, and that's fine. I measure by sight. So I'm going to take several scoops, and I'm a messy cook, so that's what you get. If I have to give a measurement to this, I'll try to put exact measurements in the description box. I'm going to do several scoops of this and put this back. That's probably close to 2 cups. So what I'm going to do is clean off this spoon because I really want as much starter in the bowl as possible. Put this aside, and then I'm going to grab the butter on the pan. So hold on. Okay, so I'm going to add that melted butter that was in my pan to my bowl with the sourdough starter, and I'm going to return this pan back to the heat and let it stay on low. So I'm going to go ahead and mix in the butter, and then I am going to add the brown sugar. And this is just kind of again, a look. I'd say that's probably half a cup. I'm going to mix that in because the sugar is what's going to feed your sourdough. Get that nice and incorporated. Put the lid back on. Next thing I'm going to add is about a teaspoon of the pure vanilla extract. And I want to add the eggs. This is 2 eggs. We have our own chickens, so these are really, really fresh. I'm just gonna get this all incorporated. I love this Danish whisk. They come in various sizes, and it goes through a batter so fast. It's incredible. So the next thing I'm going to add is a half a teaspoon of salt. And the reason I only use a half a teaspoon is because that grass-fed butter is salted. So I don't want to over salt it. And then I'm going to combine these two before I put them in the bowl. This is a half a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm just going to go ahead and combine those two together. I want to make sure that there really aren't any lumps, because you don't always get those whisked out. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to bite down on a lump of baking powder or baking soda. So that looks pretty good. Now, you know what? I want to change the camera angle so you can see this chemical reaction. So hold on. Okay, here is the batter as it is. When you add baking powder and baking soda, it will form almost like a mousse consistency, and it will get very fluffy, and it'll form air bubbles. So we're going to go ahead and add this, and then watch. You will be able to see the chemical reaction. See how it's thickening up? And this will continue to foam, and you can feel it when you're whisking it. It's getting thicker. See, it's coming up almost like a mousse consistency now. How much thicker that is. And it just continues to react. And baking powder will continue to react once it hits the heat of the pan. So they'll fluff up even more. And then that is the base of the sourdough pancakes. So now we'll switch over back to the stove and we will cook these. Okay, the pan is nice and warm. You can see some butter has bubbled up in here. Our pancake mix is ready to go, and I'm just going to spoon this into the pan. This is not a super large pan. I think this is a 12 or 13 inch, so I'm just going to do two at a time. And my heat is about low medium. And then of course, if you've cooked pancakes before, you know once the bubbles start to form, they are ready to flip. So we will come back when that happens. Okay, so as you can see, these large air bubbles have formed, and I'm going to go ahead and flip, and you can see it's a nice golden brown, and they start to puff up even more. That's that baking powder in there. And I'm just going to, as I continue to cook these, I'm going to continue and put them on my platter so that they stay warm here next to the stove. And they really don't take that long. I just keep going back and forth with the batter into the pan. And as you can see, the other side is already golden brown. We can put those on the platter and continue on with cooking the rest of the pancakes. And here they are all finished. This is my platter of pancakes. This is how I like to serve my pancakes personally. I have some almond butter on here, a drizzle of homemade plain yogurt, some berries, and a splash of maple syrup. And that's how I like to eat mine. Depending on how large or small you make your pancakes in the pan will determine how many pancakes you get from your batch. Mine, you know, I just take a dollop with the spoon and they usually end up being like this. Our gang usually eats 3, sometimes 4 each. I usually, when I have time, serve the pancakes up with some scrambled eggs and a side of bacon, some fruit. But when we're in a rush like we are now, we just grab them, throw them in the microwave and go. Sometimes we will even make a sandwich out of them, take 2 pancakes, scramble some eggs really quickly, a little maple syrup, put it in between the pancakes and eat it and go, because these mamas are not gonna wait. So I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. If you'd like more sourdough discard recipes, leave a comment below and let me know. Until next time, we'll see you soon, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.